Hi, it's Lee and welcome to the Tesla Economist. I'll get to the point. As I've said on numerous occasions, Tesla bet the future of this company on the 4680 cell, a cell that can be produced at about 10 times the speed of the 2170 and about 1/10 the floor space. Obviously, that is an absolutely massive breakthrough. We were told as far back as Battery Day that in 2022, Tesla will be able to produce 100 gigawatt hours this year, but we clearly aren't going to hit that. Then in Q3 earnings call last year, we were told to expect to hit 100 gigawatt hour run rate by the end of this year. I don't know if that's still a possibility either. Tesla have stopped throwing out production numbers for the 4680 and instead referred to the milestones as volume production and high volume production. These might also imply 100 gigawatt hours. Now, when I say Tesla bet the entire company on these cells, that's not entirely true. But a large part of Tesla's future does depend on these cells. I don't think there'll be a Cybertruck without them, or at least nothing to the level that we would hope or expect. I think the semi-truck can function on 2170s, but obviously the 4680s will have a massive jump in range, cost and efficiency. So what is it that we're waiting for with the 4680 cells? We've seen evidence that Tesla have cracked the dry process for the anode, but it does sound like they are not there with the cathode yet. But considering what is riding on it, i.e. literally trillions of dollars, and who's working on rectifying the issues, i.e. the world's best battery engineers, then I would feel that there is a good chance they should come up with a solution. Elon doesn't seem too concerned either. I think that once it's sorted, it will almost be like turning a knob for the production speed, and suddenly we hit the high volume production. You know, a few tweaks here and there on the way, but I expect a massive jump in production. It will be a complete S-curve. The question is, we just don't know where we are on this S-curve yet. But Elon seems to think we should hit that S-curve this year still. The thing is, it's not just about Texas hitting it. It's about the process being solved. Next, it can just be applied to Berlin. I even have some people who claim to talk to insiders that sound relatively credible, claiming that Tesla are even working on 4680s in China. This came a bit unexpected to me. I didn't think Tesla would make their own cells in China, but I can't personally validate the credibility. Either way, once 4680 is worked out, it's just going to be rinse and repeat. The bottleneck for Tesla is, and always has been, cells. Tesla can build plenty of car factories with relative ease. Sure, a lot of really hard work, but they've shown what they're capable of. Just look at those lines in Shanghai. The Model Y is about triple volume production, about 5 times faster than any other competitor, only producing a much more superior product that sells for a lot more and at a lower cost. And these 4680 factories, they aren't that big. They don't take as long to build when compared to a gigafactory. However, they're so productive, they do need a massive gigafactory to accompany it. So perhaps there is always the possibility that Tesla have perhaps already found something insane, like several new locations for factories already, and will start building them all at once as soon as the 4680 process is complete. I mean, Tesla was 1/10 the size it is today when it announced the Berlin and Texas factories. That's 2 factories at once. When they had a long way to go still with the 4680s, Tesla's demand wasn't anything close to what it is today, and they've hired so many more workers and have so much more free cash flow since. Anyway, we're hearing Tesla even changed parts of their whole production line for the 4680 for the cathode and are doing all sorts of new alternative things to further rectify the issues they're facing with the cathode. Like I say, Tesla are not messing around. They will do whatever it takes. It sounds like Tesla are aiming for 25 gigawatt hours for each 4680 line, and I believe they have 4 in Texas. But I also think I recall hearing somewhere that they'll have 10. I can't remember the source, but if anyone can, then please add it into the comments. Either way, 4 would be 100 gigawatt hours, which would be enough for over 1 million Cybertrucks and Model Ys a year. But then 10 lines would mean 250 gigawatt hours, which would mean almost all of us could afford a Plaid, and quite a few of us a Roadster, because it means Tesla is going to be big, really big. It's all just a wait and see game for now though. As shareholders, once this is cracked, it's such a massive deal. No one's going to catch up with Tesla in cell production after that. It's just not physically possible with their older techniques. This is the breakthrough I'm waiting for so badly. It reminds me very much of when Tesla managed to ramp up production of the Model 3, going through the infamous production hell. I felt exactly the same back then. Tesla just need to crack this, and then all the financials will fall into place, and it will become highly profitable. And from there, they'll just need to rinse and repeat, build more lines, more factories. And they did it, and the stock price went through the roof. However, not initially. It still took the market some time to realize what Tesla had done. By about Q3 2018, Tesla were delivering over 50,000 Model 3s. Still to this date, something no other manufacturer has achieved. 4 years later. It still took a whole other year until the market finally caught on to this. Through the entire period, we even saw huge dips. What were they missing? Should I be doubting myself? Isn't this obvious? Of course, the stock price was being massively shorted, manipulated and suppressed the entire time too, along with huge amounts of FUD and the competition coming. In my opinion, it feels like we're back here again. Another similar scenario with the 4680 sale. And it's again highly likely the market won't realize. We even have the same narrative of the competition not only coming, but taking over Tesla with BYD, especially when they include their irrelevant hybrid vehicles. If the dry cathode process is cracked and those cells hit high volume production, if the market realizes what's good for them, then that alone should send the stock flying. But they probably won't. So I'm going to trade through it all. I'm probably going to take quite a bit of a gamble, likely more than I would usually, because the payoff might be that big. At the same time, I just like talking about what I'm doing. I do not mean at all to encourage you to do it too. It's more me just showing my conviction for the company and putting my money where my mouth is. We're being told that the master plan part 3 is about scaling up to the extreme. That sounds like a company that has a lot more growth coming. Yet the entirety of this growth is dependent on battery and cell production. In other words, the scaling to the extreme has to be more cell production. It's a huge target. So they need a lot of cell production, a lot more factories. Sure, we've done the models that show that Tesla should reach about 20 million vehicles a year by building about one new factory a year. If each factory is just 1.5 million to 2 million capacity, it seems to track very well. But why would Tesla only build one factory a year when last year they were building 2 factories? When they had less demand, much less if you factor in the future tax credits, a lot less workers, a lot less capital, a lot less cash flow, a lot less experience, and didn't even have the technology. Yes, the technology is holding it all back and turned the new factories into cash furnaces, but it does sound like the 4680s are getting there. The dry process for the anode seems to have been achieved. It's only the cathode remaining, and then Tesla have reinvented the battery. The 4680 battery factories can be constructed much faster than Giga Nevada. We've just seen one constructed at Giga Berlin. Sure, these are solely for vehicles and will require a lot more vehicle factories, but who's to say Tesla aren't close to breaking ground on several new factories already? I know this is highly speculative, but I just try and put myself in Elon's position and try and imagine what I would do if I just cracked the dry battery electrode process and could thus now make cells at an astounding rate. On top of that, all the engineers who just set up the Berlin and Texas line would now be free to set up more lines. But either way, even if this is not the case, then Tesla will still move at a fast enough rate to make us more than content with the future stock price. It's just kind of fun to think that maybe there's a chance it might all happen a lot faster. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.